If you're looking for some horror comic book recommendations to get you ready for the Halloween spooky time, then this video is the video for you. I got 6 picks here and they're all pretty short. You should be able to complete them all in like one sitting, man. One spooky Halloween sitting. But let's start off with what I think is the scariest out of the bunch. We got Wytches, man. So Wytches is a story from Scott Snyder with artwork from Jock. Got Hollingsworth on the coloring, and it's all about this town in New Hampshire. This small old-timey town has kind of been controlled and haunted by these witches, as we see here, kidnapping the kids, or maybe the people in the town are sacrificing the kids to the witches to keep the witches kind of at bay. Maybe the witches are kind of controlling the town. There's kind of a conspiracy that goes on. This is a pretty gruesome death scene as we see what the witches are capable of. But the story follows this dude as he sort of goes down the rabbit hole of this kind of witches kind of conspiracy that's been going on in this town. And this is a series that'll make you scared to go out in the woods at night, dude. So I live in Maine, up here in New England, sort of where this story takes place. And after reading this, walking alone in the woods is a little bit different, not gonna lie, man. So Wytches, definitely check it out. Love that scritchy, scratchy sort of art style from Jock. And Scott Snyder has some real horror comic book chops, man. So definitely check out Wytches. I think it's pretty good and it should get you through, should be able to read it pretty quickly. Next up, let's talk about The Me You Love in the Dark from Scotty Young and Jorge Corona. Don't worry about the fact that I got this signed by Jorge Corona at C2E2. Hey, it's no big deal, man. So this story is all about the main girl. She is an artist and she's kind of suffering from sort of like writer's block, but artist block, right? She doesn't know what to paint, what to create. She decides to move in temporarily to this house, this old kind of musty like mansion, and maybe that'll get her kickstarted, get her some inspiration, maybe chill out and focus on the art. And we find out that this mansion, this kind of house, is haunted by this entity, this demon darkness entity, as we see here. And the girl kind of falls in love with this dark sort of spirit. She's kind of infatuated with his power and that kind of thing. Maybe it's a story about abusive relationships too, though. It's kind of like a metaphor for that, as we see this dark entity is pulling this girl in kind of in ways that she doesn't really want to get pulled, but she's kind of stuck there in this house. Can she leave? Can she not? Is it all in her head? That kind of thing. So I think it's pretty sick. Definitely check out The Me You Love in the Dark, as we see the design of this dark entity with all the eyeballs. Really cool creature design from Scotty Young and Jorge Corona in this series. Definitely check it out. Me You Love in the Dark is a really good read. Nice and short too. You should be able to read it very quickly. Next up, Stray Dogs. This is the story about all these dogs who have been kidnapped by this serial killer. The serial killer goes after like pet owners, right? So he kidnaps all the dogs after he kills the owners. He brings them back to his house, and it's got this really cute sort of art style, sort of like a Disney, like 101 Dalmatians kind of style. But we see that all the dogs are, dealing with the serial killer. Hey, he killed our owners. Can we get out of this situation? It's kind of like this merging of two different genres you don't see merged quite often, right? We got the anthropomorphic, cartoony animals on one side, but then they're in a very horrific, unsettling serial killer sort of situation on the other side. Very kind of interesting clash of two genres. And yeah, definitely recommend reading Stray Dogs. There's also a series that follows this, but I thought Stray Dogs was, quite a good read. Definitely check it out. Very unique. Don't see things quite like it. This mix of horror and kind of cartoony, childish art style. But yeah, definitely check out Stray Dogs. I just want to point out too, the first 3 we talked about, all from Image Comics, man. Image Comics makes some really good stuff. Next up, we got 3 more stories to talk about. Another kind of anthropomorphic story, as we see here, the Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. This is from creator Patrick Horvath. He's writing, he's drawing, and he's coloring too. Very beautiful stuff. It takes place in Woodbrook, and we find out that this girl who runs the hardware store named Samantha, she's a bear. And as I'm flipping through, you guys are seeing all the other characters are all animals, so it's in kind of this animal world. Woodbrook is like a small little town where our main character Samantha, she's the hardware store owner, helping people out, but she's got a dark secret because she goes out into the city in her off time and she, you know, is kidnapping people. She's cutting them up. She's a serial killer, guys. So it's like this crazy, crazy story, this crazy journey. Sort of like Dexter, if you're into that show. As we see our main character here, she keeps it all cool and collected when she's home. But when she gets to the big city and she does all her killing, she can be pretty gruesome. Definitely recommend checking this series out. Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees is one of those series that is winning all the awards, right? It just won the Harvey. So Patrick Horvath doing a little celebration tour there. Definitely recommend checking it out. That mix of like Dexter and Arthur is something that you never expect to see in a comic. Very beautiful storybook, woodland creatures, but you got that, you know, character with a dark past, dark history, and a dark sort of hobby, man. So definitely recommend Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. It's pretty good, man, with the anthropomorphic, with the killers. Very cool story there. And I like this little hardcover I got too. This is from IDW, so good one from IDW. Two more to talk about, like Frankenstein. This is part of the Universal Monsters, and this is a nice hardcover. They've been releasing them nice hardcovers. Last week we talked about James Tynion IV and how he did the Dracula series, and he's doing Invisible Man right now. It's currently coming out. I thought Frankenstein has been the best out of the Universal Monsters bunch though. So good from writer and artist Michael Walsh. He's doing double duties here. Only thing he's not doing is like the lettering and the coloring, because the coloring is from Tony Marie Griffin. But yeah, this is it starts off, it's the classic Frankenstein story, you know, but it really focuses on this kid who turns out his dad has passed away, and the, you know, evil doctor who's putting together Frankenstein, he's using the boy's like part of his dad to create Frankenstein, like his hands, you know what I mean? So it follows like this this kid as he's sort of, you know, trying to figure out what's going on with his dad and why this evil monster has his dad's kind of body parts. But then it's like the classic story of Frankenstein. But yeah, just really, really good read. As we see this kid, he's confronting the evil monster. That's not his dad's hands that he knows and loves, right? So it's a really, really compelling story. And for my money, it's the best out of the Universal Monsters bunch, which is saying a lot because Dracula was really good. I thought Invisible Man's really good so far too. But yeah, Frankenstein, some really, really good stuff. So definitely check that out. Last but not least, Somna. This is a distillery series, and it's my favorite distillery series that they've done. This is from Becky Cloonan and Tula Lotay. They go back and forth, passing off the art duties, because the story is all about, it's got a lot of nudie Judy, okay? This is like an adult sort of read. This is Tula Lotay's artwork here, as we see this girl who's making love to a demon kind of guy. You know, gets a little nudie Judy, but then it gets into Becky Cloonan's art style. So the story here is all about this girl. She's living in whatever, like the Pilgrim times, or like the old timey like New England or whatever, where they burn people at the stake. You know, if you're a little too a certain way, they'll burn you. They call you a witch and that sort of thing. And she's sort of been haunted by this evil demon in her dreams, kind of making her more lustful, making her more words I can't say here, right? So she's kind of struggling with this, you know, what's real, what's not. She kind of gets lost in the dream world, this dream state. And it's really cool seeing both Tula Lotay and Becky Cloonan pass off the art duties back and forth. So when she's awake, it looks like this, but in that dreamy time, it gets all Tula Lotay, flowy, sort of ethereal. And I thought it was a really good story, man, as we see this girl who's just struggling with, am I getting possessed? Like, what's real, what's not? Her husband is the sheriff dude who's looking for witches, right? So you don't want to get, you know, don't want your husband to know that you're seeing like demons and stuff. Excellent read, man. Somna, really good. It says it's a bedtime story. You could read this before bed, you know? So yeah, definitely check out Somna, really good from Distillery. Definitely check out Frankenstein, my favorite Universal Monsters. Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, one of my favorite recent comic book series, just point blank period. Then we got Me, You Love in the Dark, Jorge Corona Scotty Young classic. We've got Wytches, probably my favorite horror series of all time. Really good stuff there. And then finally, last but not least, Stray Dogs. A little bit of a, you know, kind of a mix of two different genres, but that's what we got. Some comic book horror recommendations to get you in the spooky mood, and all of these you should be able to read in one sitting, man. So thank you guys for watching, and read more comics.